the fabric of her name. Her love was named. Before she was Ebele, the seamstress measured and meticulous, eyes tired from counting stitches, she had once been simply Ebele, the girl in love, a girl who still believed that love could rewrite a future. She met Nduka in the second week of resumption at the University of Nigeria. Nusuka, her work-study placement had assigned her to the library front desk, quiet, routine, ideal for a girl who preferred solitude to small talk. She was jotting down borrowed book titles when he appeared, lean, confident, a half-worn satchel slung over his shoulder. His smile was effortless, his presence a disruption she didn't know she wanted. His ID card read Nduka Okoye, Faculty of Engineering. She remembered the name, not just because it was neatly written in blue ink, but because it belonged to the first person who looked at her like she mattered. "You don't look like you're from around here," he teased, resting one elbow on the desk. "I'm from Ebony," she replied without looking up, forcing her voice to stay neutral, though her heartbeat had begun to betray her. He chuckled. "And you don't look like someone who tolerates nonsense." She did look up then, and smiled. That was how it began. Innocent, playful, like sunlight slipping through clouds. He returned the next day, then the next. Sometimes he had a book to borrow, sometimes not. He brought biscuits, plantain chips, mangoes when they were in season. He waited for her after closing, walking her to her hostel, even if it meant detouring far from his own. They never talked about what they were. They simply existed in the quiet joy of each other's company. For Ebele, who had grown up learning how to carry loss without making noise, Nduka was joy she had never rehearsed for. Her mother had passed when she was 13. Her father, graying, tired, had done what he could, but poverty has a way of crowding love. And in Ebele's home, there had been no room for the luxury of softness. School was supposed to be her escape, and Nduka made it feel like a promise. They dreamed together of cities and careers. He once said, "One day I'll build houses so strong, even rain will knock before entering." She had laughed until her sides ached, leaning into him as if the world could not fall apart if she stayed close enough. He gifted her a necklace, a thin chain with a tiny silver heart. It turned her skin green in the heat, but she wore it beneath her blouse every day until the clasp broke. One rainy evening, in a quiet, forgotten corner of the campus, she gave herself to him, not out of pressure, but out of certainty. She had never been more afraid or more sure. He held her after, whispering, "You're the only person who makes me feel like I have something to lose." But life, in its usual cruelty, does not ask permission before it begins to take. By her second year, Ebele knew she was pregnant. She waited. She rehearsed what to say. But when she finally found the courage, Nduka was gone. No warning, no goodbye. He had left for the United States to continue his studies, an opportunity, they said, that came suddenly. A scholarship, a future. She learned the news through another student. His number no longer worked, and she never told him. She left school before the semester ended, disappeared from Nuka like a name rubbed off a chalkboard. She bore Zinachi alone, in silence and pain, in a missionary hospital where the nurses called her sister but never asked questions. She gripped the bedsheet, whispering his name only once, then swallowed it forever. Years passed. Seasons blurred. Ebele built a life from scraps, just enough to hold her and Zena afloat. And then, one morning in Abba, Fate folded in on itself. She saw him, older, broader, still handsome, standing beside his car, waiting for a vulcanizer to pump his tire. A small girl, maybe 12 or 13, skipped around him. A woman, poised and well-dressed, stood by the shop nearby. Clara, Adan. They greeted, politely, strangers with too much memory between them. He didn't recognize her, or perhaps he did, and chose not to. She smiled, said, "Good morning," and walked away with legs made of paper. That night, Ebele sat beside the window of their small flat, staring at the sleeping city. She clutched the necklace, now broken, dull, hidden in a tin box with other remnants of the girl she used to be. She had never told Zina his name. To her daughter, the father was a blank space filled with a soft lie. "He died before you were born." A lie, yes, but a necessary one, or so she told herself. Sometimes she allowed herself the question, if I had told him, would he have stayed? Would he have loved her? Would he have chosen us? But such thoughts were like delicate fabric. Pull too hard, and they tear through everything you've managed to patch together. So she had learned to stop pulling. She sewed instead. She stitched her pain into silence. She stitched love into every hem Zina wore. But now, with Clara's kindness towards Zina, with Adan's laughter echoing in her daughter's school, the past was not buried. It was only waiting,